Okay, I wanted to take a second to explain a little better the knockdown rule for you. When a figure is hit by weapon fire in the shooting phase, it is laid over to represent it is stunned from the weapon fire. There are different possible effects from this hit. We break this rule down further between monsters, which are vampires and werewolves, and the humans, because both have different effects. It will seem complicated at first, but will become like a second nature by the end of your first game. For monsters, in this case this vampire, when a monster is hit, it is laid over. Roll your vital roll, adding any vital roll modifiers. If the vital roll is successful, set a down marker next to the monster. The monster is now down and dazed, and that's what we did. He must roll a successful regeneration roll in his next recovery phase, which we did, and he recovered. But if the regeneration roll is failed, the monster and down marker are removed from play. If a monster figure on its side doesn't have a down marker, like this one next to it now, it is considered stunned. A stunned monster may get up in its recovery phase. A stunned figure may fight back in melee, but at a -1 fighting skill. Now, it'll be the next recovery phase for it when it can get up, just to make that clear. Now for humans, when a human is hit, roll your vital roll, adding any vital roll modifiers. If a vital roll is successful, remove the human figure from play. If the vital roll fails, the human is down and dazed and laid on its side with a down marker. During its next recovery phase, it will roll on the human survival chart and follow the results immediately. And we'll get more into that as the humans go down. Now you can kind of see how the humans are deployed. In this case, the actual Illuminati that I'm using. Just kind of give you a remembrance of what's going on here. First thing to move is we'll move the Archbishop out into play. Now they move 6 normally, so that will give them a 9 movement when they run, and he's going to lose an inch for climbing over the fence because the fence is as tall as he is. He's just going to get right on out there because he hates those monsters. What heretics. And we'll do the same for the other troops. The fence and the shopping cart would both be considered soft cover. So he's got plenty there. Now, the paladin, he thinks he's going to just go ahead and charge into those werewolves. They might not even know he's there right away. Let's see here, we got about an inch, so about 8. Alright. Of course, he'll be followed by one of the other members, one for backup. we'll go to the shooting phase. One thing I wanted to mention is I'm working on an ability for the Paladin. Since he's kind of a stealthy ninja kind of fighter, I thought I would give him pass or move unnoticed as an ability. There's a 1 in 6 chance of him being detected normally, and the closer he gets to an enemy model and the higher the rank of the enemy model, the better chance it has of detecting him before it reaches it. Right now he's fine. My quandary is having the Crusader shoot at the werewolf, thereby letting the werewolf know that the Paladin's nearby, or let the Paladin just go ahead in the next turn and attack. I think I'll have to have the Crusader shoot at the werewolf. Alright, so the Crusader needs a 4 to hit. The MP5 gets a +1 to hit. Its range is 20 inches. Thus, these guys have no possible targets because they are all out of range. So, he has the only available target, which is that werewolf right there. And we'll roll. And he gets a 5, which would be a hit. So, werewolf is knocked down, and we roll for vital. The MP5 gets a +1 for vital, and a Crusader needs a 5 or better against a werewolf for a vital roll. And I rolled a 6, so he got the vital. So we'll put a down marker next to him to remind us that on the end of his recovery phase, he has to either regenerate or be removed as a dead. And that will end the Illuminati turn. Let's go back to the werewolf. Now we'll be concentrating on the werewolf turn. As a reminder, as I'm looking in this is just kind of a version of the Sinister Jester Studios building, where they game all kinds of Sinister Jester games. Sinister Jester Studios, we are producing this game eventually, called Gothic Shadows. We also produce a game right now called Zombie Mosh, which seems to be pretty popular at the cons when I run it. And if you look on the game table is a miniature version of the table we're fighting on. So that's just kind of something I remembered while I was filming. And you can see some of the other games and game-related things, posters, Zombie Mosh poster, Warhammer 40K, some cool movies. You know, we do all kinds of stuff when we're having fun. So, hey, you know, Sinister Jester Studios, that's where it's happening. Anyways, let's get back to this. Alright, so now it's the movement phase for the werewolves. Now, the werewolf player, which is I, to kind of speed things up, has decided that he's going to charge the Ferratu. Of course, subtracting an inch for the fence, he's got plenty of charge. We made these values high because first we feel supernatural beings will move faster, and secondly it allows you to get your factions quicker into hand-to-hand melee or melee, whichever is your pronunciation where you're from. And you know, that's where a lot of the fun lies. So he moved into melee, and this guy, of course, is kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. So he's kind of hunkered down behind the taxi to try and keep some cover and return fire. Now, we got Ulrich and the Warg. The Warg being the strongest. Do we try to help there? Do we keep some suppressive fire here? Or do we try to help over here across the street? Do-de-do. Well, I think we'll try to move in and help the melee over here. So they're going to move, and his regular movement is a 7, and that makes his run a 10.5. But if he runs, he can't shoot, but that's okay. If he runs, I'll take him to about there. So he'll move to here. His normal movement, the Warg will run, moving 10.5. Leaves another 6. And he'll move to about there. Now the Wargs are large creatures. Maybe not quite as large as this guy is. He's from the Reaper range. I don't remember the name of the figure, but you can find him in their catalog or online. Same with this werewolf. He's a Reaper werewolf. And the Ferratu is from Heresy out of England. He's a little saltier, but an awesome figure. Very awesome. In fact, when we were designing this game, we had come up with a design, and other than the wings and the arms being a little long, this guy looks almost exactly dead on like we envisioned the Ferratu. The Ferratu doesn't have quite so large developed wings, and his arms are definitely not quite that long. But and they're a lot more muscular. But he's a very good representation for the game. The figures like this, which I'm using for both the werewolf and the vampire, they are $1 a piece from Black Orc Games. So you might look up their dollar minis and see if you can find them if you're interested. Ulrich is a Reaper. He's out there Chronos scope. The leader for the vampires, the Vampire, Orlok, is the Harvey model from Hassle Free. Once again, they're from England and a little more expensive. And the leader, Archbishop Ezekiel, is a vampire hunter from HeroClix. Well, whatever Clicks. He's a Click character. I never played Clicks, but I like some of the figures. So, as you can tell, I take them off and mount them normally. The Crusaders are the very old first plastic Warhammer 40K Imperial Guard, and they're from the 80s, and were painted probably in the early 90s, like 91, 92 maybe. So their paint jobs are kind of crazy. And the Paladin is definitely a HeroClix. I don't remember what hero he represents. He's a little overscale. You can't tell. A little overscale, but the look, once I add on some green stuff and paint him up, he'll look just like a Paladin. So, very cool. And that's just to show you that you don't have to have any official figures, though we'll be having some official figures coming out. And I have several concept drawings right now of what I think the figure should look like. And I'm actually sculpting a couple. One namely being the Ferratu, and another being a character for the Illuminati known as the he's not a character we have any stats for yet, but I think he's going to be a really cool figure. He's going to be used as a medic. He is a Cardinal. And then another figure I'm sculpting that's also Illuminati, which you may have seen around, is the Confessor, and he leads the Acolyte squads. And I think he's going to be a really cool figure too. Okay, the werewolf is going to take his shot. As he turns, you'll notice the Paladin, which is the closest figure. So he'll have to shoot at him. The range is very good, very close. There's no cover for the Paladin. So he's going to take a straight shot from the Canis Militaris, who has a to hit of 4 and gets a +1. So he hits on a 3 or better. And we roll a 2. So he misses. Man, the Paladin's lucky, because even if he'd gotten hit and not hurt, he'd be down. And that's honestly all the shooting we have left, because we're not going to shoot into melee. And we'll go on to the melee to show you what that's like. So I'm going to use 2 different dice. One for the werewolf and one for the vampire. And we'll see how that turns out. So what you want to do is compare fighting skills. The werewolf's fighting skill on the Canis werewolf is a 4, and the vampire or Ferratu is a 5. So you roll and add the fighting skill to the rolls, and the winner gets the hit. So I rolled a 5 for the Ferratu and a 2 for the werewolf. So that's 10 for the Ferratu and a 6 for the werewolf. So the werewolf did not win that melee. So the Ferratu needs a 4 or better to score vital roll. Oops, wait, we don't use vital rolls in melee. I'm sorry, I have to correct myself. I knew there was a vital roll, that's why I was kind of stumbling on that. They use a vital roll, but there is no knockdowns. If your vital roll is good, the figure is either wounded or killed, because melee is much more dangerous. You know, hand to hand is much more dangerous than just the shooting. So the werewolf will, or the Ferratu will roll its vital roll, and it needs a 4 or better on the vital roll. Of course, he gets no modifiers because it's a natural ability. And he rolls a 4, so he gets what he needs. Now the werewolf has only 1 wound, being a casus militaris, so he is removed from play. Dead. And that's kind of an example of how melee goes. Now the melee's over. Go back over here, and we'll try to recover this casus militaris. He regenerates on a 4 better, and we roll a 2. So this is where, since he's downed, he is removed because he failed his regeneration.